because it's nice for any computer that you're at. You can even access it on your mobile phone. But really all it is a spreadsheet. So if you don't want to use Google Docs for this specific thing, you don't have to. But what I do is create a new spreadsheet. So we're going to do a very simple calendar and then just put some activities in there. And I love Google Docs because you're already online. You can just go in and access it. And you can see I've got different collections here. So I've got my Smart Group collection. I'll click on that.
So they call them collections?
Yeah, it's basically a folder.
Yeah.
And you can create a collection by just going to create, and I've got collections here. And so you'll see that I already have a spreadsheet called Smart Calendar. I've got my presentations that I've done here before and different documents that I've done with Smart Group. So we'll click on Smart Calendar, which I actually already have open. And I just made a very simple, I just typed the days of the week that I'm going to be posting, and I did just one item. So on Mondays, I'm going to greet new fans to the Facebook page. Tuesdays, Twitter Tuesday, I'm going to do some activity on Twitter. Wednesdays, I'm going to promote other businesses. Mike was talking about that last week, where you want to consistently be promoting the other people. If you log into Facebook as your business page, you can like other businesses from your page, or you can like their posts, or be engaging from your business to their business. If you're not sure how to do that, you can ask me afterwards. So on Thursdays, you want to share a good article on the Facebook wall. If another way to use this is if you're going to share articles from some great resources that you have, you can just put those links right in here. So you know Thursday you're going to share a good article, and you've already got it right here. So this is kind of your social media hub that you can go to. And then Fridays on Twitter, they've got the friend follow. So I've got a list of people that I want to consistently stay in touch with. And so on Twitter, I'm going to tweet 2 or 3 of those and say, hey, I've appreciated getting to know you, or something like that. So it's a way of staying in touch. And then I've got everyday tasks here. So this seems really simple. It's going to get a little bit more complicated, but really powerful. So what I do is, the other piece is if I'm logged into Google, into my Gmail, and you click here, and I've got Gmail, contacts, and tasks. Now I saw Johnny, my boss, using tasks, and it's this task list that pops up. I was like, how did you get that? What's that plugin? He's like, it's just in Gmail. It's right there. So it's been here this whole time. We just didn't know about it, right? So you're logged into your Gmail account. You just click on tasks, and it pops up the tasks over here. And what I've done, you can have multiple lists. So right now I've got 2 lists going, and I created one called Smart Group Widgets. So that's just if I was a widget company and making widgets, I wanted to have a list. So you could, for the gals that work for me, I have one list for one gal, one list for another, and then I've got separate lists for each of the businesses. So I can see what we need to be doing for each of those things. Here is the cool thing that you do. So in the spreadsheet, you just select the cells that we're going to paste this into the task list. So I'm just going to copy, I selected those cells, copy, and then over here, I'm just in the task list, and I paste. So now I've got my list of things that I need to get done on Tuesday. If you want to get really crazy, you can have a Tuesday list, a Wednesday list, a Thursday list. And so then, on Sunday, you could go in and just paste all the items that you need to do that week. And then now, it's Tuesday, you check your Tuesday list. And as you do it, you just check it off. So respond to tweets, respond to blog comments, say hi to 3 people for my big fish list. So those are daily tasks. So it's a very simple but I think it's really powerful. If you get distracted, you can come back to it. It's not like it's a piece of paper or a sticky note. It's just always there, and you're all already using Gmail. So, yeah.
Now, let's just say I'm connected up with you on this thing, and you put something else on the task list. Does it alert me and say, hey, there's a new task, a new list for you to see?
Does it? You mean if you're just using it personally?
No. You know what I'm saying in that example is say we're both connected up together in that task thing.
Okay.
And you put down some more tasks. Will I get an alert when I log into Gmail and say, hey, you know, you have some more tasks. Do I actually have to make the quote effort unquote to take a look at the tasks and see that new list?
If you're managing a team, what I've done for my team is for a new business, we just create a new Gmail account for that business, and then we'll use that Gmail account and that task list just for that business. There's no it's a very simple, it's not a complex thing, so there's no notification. I mean, it's basically just like a little piece of paper that's stuck in your Gmail.
Exactly, so you have to make the effort to go look at the tasks then. Okay.
Right.
That's what I know.
Yeah.
And you suggest doing that instead of the calendar, instead of creating a new calendar for it?
It depends.
Yeah.
Because my personal calendar is actually like things that I need to be doing, and I'm using that in a different way.
Okay.
It was getting really like my list of things in my calendar that were like non-time oriented was just getting like huge, and I wanted to be able to track it. Now for this, I just log into a client's email address and I can see what things they've got done. The other thing, if I would recommend being accountable to somebody else for things that you need to do. It's really handy. The cool thing is you can you click on actions, so it's right here. Email task list. And so now it just composed an email of those tasks, and it crossed off the ones that I've gotten done. So again, this is how I manage the team. Every day, they email me from that client, these are the things that I got done. And so it's the accountability for us. I know that they check Twitter, they check Facebook, they did, you know, they've got, these are the daily tasks that they have to do every day. And then they also go, so today's Friday, so they copy the Friday task, and they just put it there also. So that way, they've got their daily things, they've got their, every Friday they're doing this, every Monday they're doing this, and that way it kind of reminds me, did they check Twitter on, did they do Twitter Tuesday? Well, yeah, okay, they marked it off right there. Do you guys have any questions about how to use this? It's very simple, but I think it's extremely powerful, and it's very flexible. You can start to figure out how you want to do it. How do you want to have different lists? You might have a personal list and a business list, you know? And so you can have, you know, these are your business fan page stuff, and then you can have your personal items right underneath it, you know? So it's very flexible.
Chris, I think I blinked. Go back to your last page.
Okay, my email?
I'm sure I blinked. Okay, so you've got your task, and then you went to send an email to your group. And how did you take the list that was in the task and get it into the message?
Just discard this real quick. So I'm just in Gmail, I've just got my tasks open. I go to actions, so it's right there at the bottom. And there's all these different things you can do. I can print the task list, or I can email the task list. It opens up a new email and prints it. Yep.
Cool, I missed that. Right.
So really just a powerful thing, but it's simple. So
Thank you.
yeah. So that's one way of doing it. Let's take a business right now and see what tasks would be good for them. So like for Baggins, you said you consistently do a calendar of things that
I don't.
Okay. Well, do you have something on the top of your head that you think might be good to do on a regular basis?
Probably promoting, like we get a lot of requests for donations. And
Okay.
stuff, and sometimes I, post them up on
Right.
Facebook to say, we're a part of this, or, just go to it if I think it's a good,
So like a donation day.
Right, yeah, so I
Okay.
was thinking maybe I might do that, you know,
Mhm.
like if we've given something to them to promote them, like Trot or the U of A Melanoma Center or something like that.
What day would be good to do that?
Yeah, maybe Wednesday.
Okay, let's put it on Wednesday.
Maybe Wednesday.
Okay, I'm just gonna do.
Yeah.
Picture of Sam. And then comment.
Yeah, those are my biggest tips, you know, just the
Right.
pictures, you know,
Yeah.
it's so weird, yeah,
Yeah, 'cause it,
yeah.
What else should we have Baggins do on Wednesdays?
You guys always take pictures of food, right?
yeah,
This
you
is-
should, right before the lunch hour, just
Yeah.
post a picture of food.
Yeah.
Yummy, yummy, yummy.
Yeah, or like I usually retweet, you know, repost or retweet, like
Mhm.
people will send me pictures of their
Mhm.
lunches, so I try to,
And
I repost those.
the beauty of this
Yeah.
is you can be consistent. So like Wednesdays, you might pick like a specific type of sandwich or like a specific like
Right.
color. I mean, you could do like blue Wednesdays, you know?
Right.
And then that way, like you really start to drill in. Yeah, people like look forward to like that specific thing.
Okay,
And you know, with Lent right now, I mean, like on Fridays, you could
right,
have a
Mhm.
Lent thing.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, absolutely, that's great,
Something I think 1 out of 10 tweets.
yeah.
You know, Mike was talking about communicating, like, what is your marketing message? You know, like,
Right.
or what are you trying to communicate? Well, one goal I would say, and I would also have goals like written right in here of, this is my goal with social media activities, to drive some people back to our website, to communicate menu items, and communicate specials. Like those might be 3 goals that you set for my social media activity. Well, now you want to measure those, you know, and you want to be doing something that aligns with that. So what aligns with,
Those
you know,
things.
your
So you
website?
can have different goals for different days, though.
Right.
Okay.
But so I would say like posting from, you know, on Mondays, you might consistently pull something from your website and post it on Facebook. Like, hey, did you know this section of our website, or did you know that we have 23 locations?
Right.
I might only do that 1 out of 10 times, and this calendar keeps you accountable, so you're not constantly blasting about your website.
Right.
But people know on Mondays you're going to pull something from your website and share it with them. You know, a new tip from our website every Monday, and that way you're not constantly blasting. But that's a goal, is to get people to go back to your website and check it out.
Right.
And then with Google Analytics, you can see how many times that's actually happening.
I have a suggestion for you, is that whenever you guys cater, after it's set up, take a picture of it, and if they're okay with
Mhm.
posting it.
Right, yeah, that's one of our goals, it's one of my goals, YouTube and posting being, you know, just our everyday catering, things like that.
Because it's beautiful pictures.
Mhm.
Or
And I might
if
do
customers having a birthday and they come in, you know.
Yeah, that's great.
Wishing them
I've been
happy
trying to
birthday.
get more participation, you know, from customers. You know, last summer we did, you know, post a picture of you eating a sandwich or a post of you at your, you know, at your desk, and that was great. You know, people
Mhm.
posted, you know, with their cookie or, you know, something like that, so I was
There's
trying.
a company in New York called Swell Bottle, and they have a contest every week for where the bottle goes.
That's great.
And they send
I know we
it
thought
in.
about, that was one of my other ones, our cups, you know, because I saw one floating down Sabino Canyon, you know. How weird, you know? I thought, well, that'd be a good thing, let me see where our Dragons cups go, you know?
Mhm.
Yeah, no, it's not, yeah.
Well, and if that's on every Thursday,
Right.
you know, at 3 o'clock, like that's what you're talking about, people will start to plan for it,
Okay.
instead of it being kind of willy-nilly, and it starts, you know, snowballing out of control if you have all of these different things, like trying to remember which thing you're supposed to do on what day.
Do you have a certain day that, you know, people post blogs? I mean, is there a day that works better, or is it just,
I like Wednesdays.
you like Wednesday, that's when you do it? and
People,
that's-
people are they're looking. Mondays
I
and Fridays
think-
don't work for me.
I think Tuesday and Wednesday are really good.
Best days?
I believe it's Tuesday, but I don't. I'm trying to remember the things that I've read.
Okay.
Do you remember, Mike? Like what
The best.
most
Well,
popular days?
And if you're just going to the masses versus
Right,
narrowing down to your audience, then you have to think in terms of, if you've identified it's an age pocket, when is their best engagement?
Right.
Monday's overwhelming. Everybody blogs on Monday.
They do,
So
okay.
it may be best to push Tuesday and Wednesday, never a Friday. Friday's a terrible day. Everybody's looking for one thing, get out of the office.
Yeah.
And start the
Okay.
weekend.
Because I think you kind of have to listen to your customers,
Yeah.
because I know on Mondays, if I don't list what's on special, people are emailing me saying, you know, that kind of
okay.
thing. So I think that'll be my Monday stuff.
Yeah. Well, and you can go, if you're doing a regular calendar like this, you can go back into your insights and you can start to see the trends.
Right.
And it becomes very easy to notice those trends if you have the, you know, like your calendar, just a normal calendar pulled up and you're looking at your insights. You can track, oh, that was the 23rd, we got a lot of hits. Well, that's our Wednesday, this is what we did on that day.
Right.
You know, and so you can start to define what's working well, what you need to change. So, we'll share another way of doing this using a different tool. There's so many ways of doing this. I've kind of switched around how I do it a couple ways, and I think it depends on how you use these tools, what's going to work for you. So that's why I wanted to share some different ways of doing it. So I'll share this other tool, and then I want to take maybe 2 other businesses, and we'll work through some examples of what would work well to do on a consistent basis. So my favorite tool in general lately has been Workflowy. Yeah, Workflowy. Have we done a presentation on it? No? Okay.
Not that I remember, it could have been.
What was it called?
Yeah, workflowy.com. When you first log in, there's nothing there. There's, it's just, in fact, I'll create a new item. Workflowy.com. Workflowy is the address.
Organize your brain.
Yeah. So I'm gonna do something real quick. When you log in, it looks like this. There's nothing. There's like home and there's a plus sign, and that's all you see. It's nice because it's just blank.
Oh,
It's a
that's
blank
alarming.
slate. What?
That's alarming.
It's like, what's going on? Yeah.
Scary.
So the cool thing, I'll take you back to what mine looks like. It's got all these, very easy to just add something. So a client, I just hit enter and it adds a new bullet underneath it. I like it because let's say I'm going to work on this client right now for the next hour. I click on it and it's just that list of things that I need to be working on for them. I'll take it back. Another thing is the hashtags for organizing it. I've got like this week. I click on this week and it pulls off all of the things that I've tagged as this week. So on Sundays when I'm going through and planning out what I need to do for the next week, I look through all of my to-do items on like long-term, short-term, whatever, and I can assign this hashtag to the things I'm going to do this week. And so it's a way of kind of having a bucket of items that I need to be working on and assigning it. So that's the 1 minute quick and dirty of Workflowy. But what? Yeah.
2 things. Can that be shared by more than one person?
Yes, with a caveat. I always so I want to share. So I did this smart group calendar. So this is what we're going to focus on for the next little bit. So I can share this with you. I just scroll over this and I click share, and it'll give me let people edit, and it just gives me this URL. The thing is that I'm still the owner of it, and it's not. I thought it was going to work really well for managing like the different people, but it's not the greatest. But yes, you can share it. It's good for something temporary. I wouldn't want to like have multiple, because for each client I was having a different list and sharing that individual thing, and so I was having 5 or 6 links that I would have to go into and click. And so, but you can share. So let's look at how to use Workflowy for managing your calendar. So I did it for this We Sell Widgets company. I included widgets because then anywhere in Workflowy, if I have something that I need to do for widgets, I just add the hashtag widgets and it kind of organizes it, pulls it all together for me. So on Mondays, we're going to tell our message, tweet out a blog post, why we love widgets. So that's what I'm going to do on Monday. On Tuesdays, we're going to do cross-platform promotion of our widget event next week. And then on Friday, we're going to recommend somebody on LinkedIn. So this is a way of doing the same thing using a different tool. I really like it because of how flexible it is. So if I click on Friday, now let's see, I'm going to go home, and I'll click on Friday, and it pulls up anything that I've tagged as Friday. So this is nice when I'm managing multiple things, again, because I can just click on what do I need to do Friday, and it pulls up all of my Fridays across all of my clients, across my personal, business, for if I'm working on this angel. So it's like having all these to-do lists all combined all instantly, and then it recombines in a different way.
And you do that by clicking on the
Yeah, you just click on the hashtag, and then I've got like a key for myself of what days I've got things assigned. So I don't have anything assigned for Wednesday, Tuesday. Let's see if I've got something for Friday. Oh, it's doing Tuesday and Friday. So there's a lot more with Workflowy, but let's just go back into the calendar. I like it because you can really organize it in however you think. I'm trying to think of another way of organizing it that might work better. You might have like a calendar, and you might just do below Friday, and then underneath Friday have all of the things that you're going to be working on. So you don't have to use hashtags the way I've used it. You can do it in any formal list. So let's take another business and think of what would work well. Would you want to volunteer yours?
Well, I manage a page for a dry cleaner, Schaefer Dry Cleaner.
Okay.
And this work calendar will be great to go to organize, different specials. There's a lot of community causes that the company gets involved with. Yeah.
Specials, community causes. Do you have a blog on there?
Not yet, but we want to start a blog.
Okay. So like blog posts. You could tweet. You could do like interesting things that people have left in their clothes.
Right, that would be good.
Yeah, I mean, just like.
That's a great idea. It's a great idea.
Or stains.
Just don't reveal their names.
Or stains.
Those might lose a client.
And something Mike was talking about last time is it's not all about just who you are, what you do. You also want to be talking about things that your clientele is interested in. You're talking about like sports, like the people that come and like what you're doing.
Yeah.
Also like these other things.
Yeah.
So you don't want to just constantly be, dry cleaning. There are other things that, I'm a whole person. I'm not just the clothes that I'm wearing or something.
I see
So,
you engaged in U of A, basketball, football.
Yep. Local is a big thing, local Tucson events that are going on. And so the nice thing is, so I just typed in U of A. I'm going to find some. So I'm just going to pull the U of A's website for fun, copy link address, go back into Workflowy, and now I don't like that. I'm going to go to Arizona.edu. Okay. So there we go. Okay, so now I've got the link right in there. The reason why is so I can have, if I'm like, I'm going to share some interesting things about Tucson, I can have all the interesting links about Tucson right in here in this list. So I don't have to go somewhere else to be like, okay, no, I shared this one last time, I want to share something different. You can kind of use this to record that and use this as your hub where you then kind of go out and look for other things, and okay, you could even use the links and organize them in the order in which you're going to share. You know, so let's say, you know, this week you just shared Arizona. So you don't want to share it next time. So we're going to just drag it down here. And so then next time you log in, link 2 is the first one. So you're going to share that one. And then you don't want to share it again. You know, so these are things that you're going to share every Monday. So this is your Monday, you're going to share these different links. So you can use this, and you see I just click over here and drag link 2 down again. So I just put it down at the very bottom. So that way you're kind of rotating what you're sharing, and that way you're not always doing the same thing.
Right.
Does that make sense? So you use the tool as a way of managing information. You don't have to remember, what did I share last time? You know, or when you find something interesting next time, you put that link in there, and now you can reference back what was going on before. And then just to manage looking at this list, I click on this minus sign, and it hides it. So that way I don't have to always have all of this stuff, because I might have like a note about you know, you might have a whole bunch of information there and you don't want to look at it right away. So it just makes it really easy to hide it and to only see what you want to be looking at. So what are some other ideas for a dry cleaner that they could be sharing?
Their support of community events,
They do a lot of community
of
events.
which there are many.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, community causes.
Yes.
So you might share that on Tuesdays.
And also Schaefer Dry Cleaning is the only dry cleaner that does a lot that does green cleaning. So there's a lot of environmental green shares and everything.
You know, what not to do when you get a stain, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, little tips and tricks for caring for dry clean only clothes at home.
That can make it worse.
What to do with the plastic bags that are on your dry cleaning? What to do
Like
with the plastic
recycling
bags?
or...
They take them back.
Yep.
And the hangers too, or not?
Yes. Hangers the bags.
So I've
I like
typed up some of these things and just assign a day to it. And so, you know, you log into Workflow and you're like, okay, well it's you know, Wednesday, what do I need to be doing? You click on Wednesday and you can see, okay, I need to be doing the green cleaning. Or it's Tuesday, see what's cross-platform promotion of our widget every next week. So this is a pretty handy tool for organizing what you're going to be covering and for kind of putting everything in there, but then not having to be overwhelmed with, you know, too many lists, or I think of it like as a digital sticky note, like there's just all these pieces of information all over
And
the
you can
place.
rearrange those things?
You can, yep, we can move this around. It's got this little drag to move. I can put this up top. I mean, I can drag each of these individual things around within it, or I can move this, recommend someone on LinkedIn. I can move this over to right below specials. So it's very easy to move things around.
I love that.
Yeah, and then like tab, it increases the indent on something. And so then this blog post becomes underneath community causes, so it might be a blog post about community causes.
Now, you're the owner of that Workflowy.
Uh-huh.
So can you have multiple Workflowies?
It's tied to your email address. So if you have multiple email addresses,
Oh, okay.
the thing that I do also is I've got
So you can
like,
have a group email where everybody could go into one.
you could. Also, so I've got like client projects. I've got different clients listed here, and then I've got like our business, and I've just got my personal stuff. I mean, I've got everything in here, and I've seen it where it's like 43 pages of information And the nice thing is you just click on the one that you want to work on, and boom, now it's almost its own workflowy, you know? So you can put everything in there, and then you only want to worry about this one thing right here, you know, bounded rationality. So you just focus on just that item, you know?
So it's just one list, you don't have like separate, let's call them documents for each
Right.
thing?
So like,
It's only
you know,
one.
I'm about to do, you know, I'm about to work on the school. So, you know, I'm going to make some phone calls and things. So I just pull up just their workflow, and then I'm talking on the phone, and you know, I make a note about that person. I'll just do it right in here. I might move it later, or I might add it to a different list. But yeah, really.
But it's just one list, you can't have
Yeah.
different ones like that are completely separate from each other. It's just one big long.
Well, yeah, but I mean, this is a separate list right now.
Mm.
It's just, I mean, we're viewing it as its own list.
So you could almost set it up like at the first page you see, like a table of contents by closing all
Right.
the information under it.
And you see I've got like content development, so we click on that, and I've got some more information. And if I'm about to work on the content development piece, I might click on that. Boom, now I've got like almost a fresh list of just working on content development, you know? And so now I can do a brainstorming session within here, just put everything, you know, do a mind dump, and then anything I don't work on, I close.
And you don't have to save it,
It just saves it, yeah,
saves it
instantly.
automatically.
Yeah. So, really dynamic, really powerful, but when you first log in, it's just one little bullet. You
So
know?
you've been, oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
You say it's tied to your email address, I don't understand.
So it's just a login. It's not complicated.
Login from?
You give it your email address,
Oh, I
and
see,
that's
when
now
you
your
sign in.
username.
Like
So
when
they
you
were
sign
saying,
into Facebook.
could you create multiple workflowies?
I got it.
For every email address, you
Sure.
could have a different workflowy. But you do have to verify that email address works. So.
But from this task list, there is no way, if you've been collecting all this information, there is no way to link it? Or is there to link it to your Facebook or what? So you've got a hashtag of LinkedIn, things you want to do for LinkedIn,
Mhm, mhm.
but you cannot go directly from your task list with a link to posting it, correct?
You could.
I mean, because it has all those little things
Well-
up there on the right
Can you
hand.
put a URL
Well, I went-
most linkable in there?
So this Arizona EDU,
Right.
I click on it and it takes me there. So you could, you know, for your
That's
Facebook
awesome.
stuff, you know, I need to do this on my Facebook page. You put in a link to your Facebook page. And so, I mean, it makes it very, you know, you don't have to then search for something and type it in. You just click on the link and it takes you there. So kind of it could be linked if that's how you want to do it. You just have to include that link in there. So, yeah, Claire.
Yeah, well, when you were showing a few minutes ago on, you know, sharing that whole note thing,
Mhm.
you know, you got that link in there.
Right.
You were saying that, you know, you didn't really think it really worked all that well. Well, bottom line, can you still send a link and it could still be edited and viewed by
It's
people?
great for a short time period. What I was finding is I wanted to just be able to see everything all in one go, and I had their links to their workflowies within mine, and so then I'd have to click into theirs for each project. I was having to click into an individual link, and I liked being able to glance and see what was happening on several different accounts at once.
Oh, okay.
So at least that's my ideal
Okay.
solution.
Now let's just say, for example, on your workflow, you have like 5 different projects, but
Right.
you
Yeah, so I've got
but-
like this project, this project, this project.
Yeah, well, I'm thinking more about big bullet points like client projects. Let's just say
Right.
that's just the name of one project. Can you show the workflow only for that one for the other people?
Yeah.
Or you
I
can't?
just click on here and I share, and it shares everything that's underneath client project
Okay.
and nothing else.
Okay.
So,
That's
yeah,
fine.
it's very very powerful, very handy. So,
So, you know, was it last week or, no, it was the week before we did Evernote?
mhm.
And I love Evernote, but, so I'm like thinking, how can you tie these two together?
I'm torn myself. The next tool that I'm going to show you how to manage your calendar with is Evernote.
Oh, okay.
I've used Workflowy for managing this stuff. I've used the Google Tasks. I have not yet switched to trying Evernote to manage everything.
So do you use both of those now?
Yes. I found different purposes for each of them. I tend to use Evernote as like a notebook, a mind dump of like when I'm talking to somebody on the phone, or like I make an action on an account.
You can always put a link in your Flowy.
Yeah. I could do them all together. So I think of, for me, Workflowy for tasks, and then Evernote as almost like my lawyer journal of this is what happened on this account. I'll put in emails, or I'll put in, he said to do this, I need to make sure to do that. And then it's tied to a date, so it's kind of like my chronology of what's been happening on different accounts or whatever.
Yeah, because I was just thinking, okay, I've got Evernote, I've got.
And then I use Google Docs for some of that too. But yeah, it'll all work out and it'll all blend together. So. Okay, so that's Workflowy.
So what you're saying is it may be optimal to use one.
Yes.
Or all of them.
I highly recommend picking one and sticking with it for quite a while. And that's what I've done, is I've had one and used it for several months. And then I find something else and I go, I wonder if I really like that. And I'm addicted to trying new things. So this is me trying new things and constantly exploring. Because I love consulting other people on how to use the tools. And I say, this is how I found it was effective. This is how I found it didn't work that well. So I like to be able to pass that information on to you guys. So I don't recommend you do the
What's the
same.
difference between like Evernote and like SpringPad?
I've never used SpringPad.
Oh.
I don't know.
No.
Have you seen it or heard about it? Oh, okay. I like SpringPad, which sounds a lot like Evernote.
Next week. He'll know about it next week.
Yeah, because it just
Please.
it just helps you organize like bookmarks and pictures.
How are we doing time?
You have a little addiction here.
I love learning. I'm fascinated with the learning process in general. So
it's like a like a board.
Okay, so Evernote.
SpringPad.
Here's my Evernote. Notebooks are amazing. So this is how I've broken up clients into notebooks. And so then when I'm doing something on a client, I'm posting it in there. And you don't have to start doing that right away, but if I start finding that I'm entering a lot of notes about something specifically, I then create a notebook and I drag in all the notes into it. So the cool thing with Evernote is these little checkboxes. I like them because you can do to do a search. So I just typed in to do : false. Let's see if it works for me. Okay. So yeah, it pulls up all of your to-dos and all of the to-do lists everywhere.
How did you make those with the boxes?
Yeah, how do you make the checkbox?
It's a cool, you can do it one of two ways. You do format and to-do. And so you insert a checkbox, or Control-Shift-C.
There's also the bar at the top. When you edit, it's also in the bar that's on the top of the document.
Right, it's right up here.
Where?
Oh, it's one of these?
Yeah, it's different on Mac.
How do you do it on mobile? Because I was looking at it yesterday, I didn't see it on the mobile.
It's different on Mac. You might not have it on PC.
Oh no, there it is. Okay.
What was it? What did you click on?
Also,
The
all three
oh,
of
the
the
chevron there.
All three of the ways that Chris is showing you today sync to mobile. So all three, there is a mobile option to connect and see that content. Obviously mobile for this. There are a lot of options for Google Task Mobile that set reminders and ping you, as well as there is an app for Workflowy as well.
So yeah, I like this a lot. I don't remember. I haven't used it for this specific purpose, but there's a way of searching all of your to-do lists. Do you remember how to do that, Mike?
Just through primary search, and again, if you're in the pro version, then it will search if you've taken pictures. It uses the OCR, and it'll pull it out of images and everything.
It's only
that
the
you've
old
ever done.
pro
Yeah.
version.
The pro adds the OCR to where you're picking up stuff out of images. I use Evernote almost exclusively with images. So I'll write a document, and then at the end of it, snap a shot, load it in, put it into a folder, and
I use it for my expense reports
yeah.
because I'm so bad with receipts. Before I leave the store, I'll just take a picture of the receipt and then go back and categorize it and upload it that way.
So I like it for this. I would do like a social media calendar, and you can have, like Sunny, we were talking about the goals that you wanted to achieve. You could have a goals, and then you, like I call it a big fish list. So the top 20 people that I want to connect with and stay in touch with and have them know my name. I mean, there's some national authors that are on my big fish list, you know, and I've gotten to connect with them and talk with some of them because I'm consistently on a daily basis trying to connect with 2 or 3 of them every day. And what's that? Yeah, I put in there a few people. But so like Neil, what's that?
So like you stalk them?
A little bit. But that's the benefit of online. Like so Neil Schaefer, he's a public speaker, and he's written some books on LinkedIn and on the power of using LinkedIn to connect with people. And I want to be able to pick him up, call him on the phone, and ask him questions. That's my goal, is to know him and to be able to have that connection with him. So I like stuff he does on Facebook. I share stuff that he has. And he's talked with me on Facebook. He was in town last year in November, and he said, hey, call me on my cell phone and let's see if we can meet up. And I did, and we ended up not getting to meet up. But the point of it is, you know, he does speaking, and he'll charge like $10,000 just per visit. I want to get to know him and understand his business model and be able to call him on the phone and ask him questions. So I consistently connect with him, and I tweet him, or I'll pay attention to it. And the way I do that is by having a list of people that I want to connect with and managing that list. So every day I'm connecting with a few of those people. And you have to manage that somehow. You can't just keep that in your head of trying to do that. And for business, it gets even worse. You know, if you have 100 or 200 people that you're trying to stay in contact with and constant connection with, you know, like for instance, your customers. You know, if you have 1,000 customers that you know have liked you on Facebook, you could take 10 a day and connect with those 10 each time. But you have to be using some way of managing it. The way you're going to manage it is probably very different from the way I'm doing it, but I wanted to share with you some tools that can work well. So a daily list of what you do on Mondays and Tuesdays. So again, on Mondays, post good articles. You can put the place to the good articles right there. So I click on my Google Reader, and it'll take me to my Google Reader, where I've got some good resources. So again, you use the tool as a repository of information, a place where you go to get that information. So you're not having to get scattered and move all over the place. So I'm not as experienced at using Evernote to do this, but I knew it was possible, so I want to show it to you guys.
And we had a big presentation on Evernote a couple weeks ago, so pretty easy to meld those two together.
Cool. Do you want? We've got about 7 more minutes. Do you want to take somebody's business and dive into what would work well for them on a weekly basis to be posting? I think a few more examples would be good. Yeah?
I would love to, you know, just get some feedback from you, because I'm too close to it, so I don't know what you want to hear.
Right. So give a 10-second elevator pitch on your business, just so everybody can be reminded again.
Well, I sell printing, email marketing, promotional items. I help customers like kind of look at the overall picture of all the things you can do and how they all work together, and then help them start looking at, well, where should we start? Because it's overwhelming. I'm late because I met with the doctor and I could just tell. And I said, you know what, let me recap what we talked about because there was a lot.
Yeah. So, I mean, some things that come up to the top of my head are like tips about what types of email marketing should go out. Getting your customers' email addresses. So consistent, like on your website, you have a squeeze page where it gets people's email addresses and then opts in for a newsletter. You know, so sending out tips about are you getting your customers' emails? You know, and that's a great question for you guys. Are you getting your customers' emails? You know, because first step one is to get their emails, and then to consistently connect with them, sending out a weekly or monthly newsletter, calling Pam and getting, you know, how do I set this up? So tips about your business. But what's like related things that they might be interested in, like marketing. So that you can share
business and. And it could be just links to like, you know, hey, you guys should be here because we're learning about it.
So do you have like top 5 marketing blogs that you pay attention to?
No.
Okay. Like Seth Godin is the one that comes to my top of my head.
Number 1.
Yeah. So like share, you know, every Monday sharing your favorite blog posts from Seth Godin, you know? And so it's not about you anymore, it's about great marketing stuff that your customers might be interested in.
Well, I'm thinking if I see somebody that I think does a brilliant marketing thing, like sharing that.
Absolutely.
Saying, here's a brilliant marketing thing.
And turn that into, on Tuesdays, you share what valuable marketing that you've seen either people in Tucson or people all around the country. And if you share in Tucson, then you can share it on their page. And then, so now you're doing cross-channel promotion where you might like some of their posts and you might say, hey, by the way, I shared your I shared Baggins' fan page on my wall as a great example of people using a cover photo on Facebook.
Now when you say okay, so I go to their page, I'm reading about their stuff, I go, that was brilliant.
Right.
And then I share it on my page.
Yep.
But then
and let them know that.
And so do I go and I tag them? Is that how I let them? Okay. I was wondering, do I private message them, or is it just through the tag?
And I would say it's just like a normal people interaction. If it's the very first time, I might message them privately. If it's you start to get more familiar with people,
or even tell them, hey, that was really brilliant, and I'm going to share it with you.
Absolutely,
yeah.
Absolutely. You know, and like if it's on Facebook and it's a post, you can comment, hey, I'm going to share this with all my fans, and then you click on the share button, and they're going to see that you shared it, and they're going to see that you commented. You know, especially if they're a business that's on your big fish list. You know, so.
Chris, can I tell? This is such a relevant story for all of us.
Yeah.
Somebody called me 2 days ago and said, do you have anything to do with the Fairfax Company's Facebook page? And I said, well, I hired a person that's doing it for them, but I really don't. And she said, well, I know you're connected with them, and I don't like it at all. And I said, how come? And she said, because all they're doing is putting like stock stuff up. Here's our locations, here's this, here's that. So but that's a real person taking the time to call me who knew I was connected and said, I don't like it at all. It's just really, like, it's all sales. And she said, I want something, this word she used, that's added value to my life.
Right.
Like, why should I use organic compost? Which has nothing to do with 25% off coupon.
Right.
So they started changing it, but I think that you said that many times. How can I be added value to my tribe that's not just selling, a Mrs. Green sponsorship or something?
Yep.
It's really giving good content.
Well, a customer wants to know, are you in it for your own benefit or for their benefit?
Yeah.
And